Right out of the sky. Just before 6:30 tonight, a small plane crashes onto busy Breckenridge Lane in the heart of St. Matthews, all near the Baptist Hospital complexes on Kresge Way. Hello, everybody. Coverage of tonight's breaking news right now on the WHAS11 night team. I'm Doug Prophet. The pilot and a passenger taken to the hospital along with a passenger in a sedan that was hit right on the road. Now, here's the pilot's call to the tower.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Cherokee 5006 Whiskey, we have no throttle.
No throttle there, no power. The call for help. A small plane in trouble in the air over St. Matthews, descending quickly toward Breckenridge Lane. And right here from our photojournalist Jessica Farley on the scene, you were looking at the removal of the plane as it was happening from the street. This is within the past 2 hours. Take a look. There's the power pole it hit. They used a crane to pick up the Piper aircraft. And again, as we were able to get a closer look, we saw that silver utility pole that was knocked to the ground after the plane struck it. After several minutes, the wrecker crews then hauled the plane up over to a flatbed truck to take it away to Bowman Field, where it is now going to be examined. And this is what we've learned about the small plane. It took off from Bowman Field at about 5:47 p.m. tonight. FlightAware then picked up the flight's pattern when it flew over the Ohio River. The plane then flew north into Indiana before turning back around, as you can see, and heading right toward Bowman Field in St. Matthews. It was at this point the authorities believe the emergency took place in the air, leading to that Mayday call and then the eventual crash. We have team coverage for you tonight from WHAS 11 photojournalist Jessica Farley, Aspen Hester, and night teams Clarice Shaley, along with photojournalist Elijah McKenzie. They are right now live at the scene. And Clarice, has that plane been finally taken off to Bowman Field? What are you seeing there tonight?
Doug, that plane has been taken away. It has been sent to Bowman Field, and the intersection where the plane crash occurred at Breckenridge Lane and Kresge Way is now open, has been open for 15 to 20 minutes, we heard, and it's being treated as a three-way. And a lot of that remnants from that crash is still here. Just right behind me here is a light that had been taken down from the crash, from the plane crash, along with remnants across the street there, with more of those traffic lights there, along with all across the opposite side of the street. And tonight we have information from the St. Matthews police chief on the people involved in the crash. 2 people were on board the plane crash and were taken to the hospital. Their injuries are not life-threatening, and the pilot is currently stable. The passenger of a sedan, also hit by the plane, has been treated and released from the hospital. And with all of this damage, it's a miracle no lives were lost.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Cherokee 5006 Whiskey, we have no throttle.
This small plane, a single-engine Piper, crashes at Breckenridge Lane and Kresge Way.
I'll go out and look, and it's like there's a plane sitting in the road.
A sedan driving in the area was hit by the plane. 1 passenger was taken to the hospital to be checked out. The plane was last tracked in the air in this area at 6:17 p.m. WHAS 11's Reed Yaden, also a longtime pilot, viewed aviation scheduling records. He reports the 2 people on board were the student pilot, a woman, and the pilot, a man. Both were taken to the hospital.
It's crazy to me.
All this happened in front of an apartment complex. Friday quickly becoming an unexpected night.
A little concerned in that it's less than 100 yards from my front door.
Being in the flight path of Bowman Field, neighbors say planes fly closely over them often and feared this would happen.
And for it to take out these 2 large girder poles, it's very concerning.
Longtime St. Matthews Mayor and Fire Information Officer Rick Tonini says it will take a while to get the intersection back in working order.
The plane took out the entire electrical stoplight infrastructure for the intersection, which means it has 2 major poles holding up the strings of lights, and they've been completely taken down to the ground.
Tonini also saying there was fuel leakage and hazmat works to clear it before it got into any systems. Another airport regional manager showed up at the scene, John Secor of Clark County, Indiana's airport, saying he believes there was an in-flight emergency and they had to find a flat place to land.
Realize the airplane's moving about 100 miles an hour, and there's certainly some stress involved at that time. So their decisions were made quickly, and that decision, in my opinion, was a good one.
So St. Matthews Mayor Rick Tonini did tell me that it is going to take a long time to get this busy intersection back up and running. Live in Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side. Doug?
All right, thank you very much, Clarice and Elijah on the scene tonight, our team and all of our team on this story. Now to the Big Blue earthquake in Rupp Arena. For the first time in nearly 10 years, a scene many people believe they'd never see. Rick Pitino, the former U of L and UK coach, is welcomed back with a standing ovation and wild cheering crowd in Rupp Arena. He stunned the crowd at Big Blue Madness tonight by showing up. The legendary Hall of Fame coach was a surprise guest at the end of the celebrations of the start of Kentucky basketball. Many had wondered when this moment would happen and how Pitino would be remembered after his abrupt exit from the program to head to the NBA in 1997, then returning just 4 years later, but this time as coach of arch rival, the Louisville Cardinals. Well, shortly after the fireworks ended tonight, Rick Pitino walked over to the sidelines, and waiting for him there was WHAS 11 sports reporter Mason Horodisky. He interviewed the emotional Pitino, who will also be attending the UK football game tomorrow night.
Fans packed into Rupp Arena Friday night, expecting to usher in two new eras of Kentucky basketball with new head coaches Mark Pope and Kenny Brooks. But what maybe no one expected was the return of one of Kentucky's greatest coaches.
I am so happy to be back. I said, before I pack it in coaching, I want to go back to Camelot for one more time.
Were you ready for that kind of ovation that you got?
Not really. I had a lot of trepidation because maybe the last time I ever get to come back, but I wanted to do it for Mark Pope, for the players I've coached, and for the fans that were so great to me. So I'm happy I did it. I feel like crying a little bit, but I'm very happy.
How long have you been wanting to be back here in Camelot?
Well, you know, as a Louisville coach, you're looked upon a different way. But I came back tonight as the Kentucky coach.
Did you ever think that you would be in a moment where not only you can come back here, but your captain is the one now steering the ship?
I think I'm in heaven with that, so that's awesome.
Throughout the years, Big Blue Madness has earned its name, but tonight took that to a whole new level, as Rick Pitino will be back in the Bluegrass Saturday at Kentucky football's game against Vanderbilt. Until then, from Rupp Arena, Mason Horodisky, WHAS 11.
All right, and coming right up here tonight, we're going to have the highlights from Big Blue Madness and the start of the Mark Pope era. Our coverage on that begins at 11:15. And the change in security at all JCPS high school football games is another new development to bring you tonight. Tonight was the first night for the rules. It comes after two teenagers were shot during a PRP male high school football game 2 weeks ago. One of the teenagers has now died. The tougher security includes using metal detection wands, banning masks and bags. Minors must show their student IDs, and fans can no longer leave the games and come back inside. Tonight, we covered Male's home football game. We asked the fans about the changes.
I agree with it all the way because they need it. There's too much going on. I agree with it all the way.
Late today, we learned from the coroner the identity of the teenager who was shot and killed. He's 17-year-old Aaron Esters Jr. Died of his injuries in the hospital earlier this week.